What's up everyone? Welcome to Homebrew Subaru. I've got the old Honda Ridgeline back in my garage, and the last time I was in, the guy asked me to do an engine scan, see if there was any codes because the engine light was on, and there was 2 codes related to the oxygen sensor. Now these older 3.5 liter Honda V6s do have 4 O2 sensors, so you want to be sure you're getting the right one. There's 2 upstream, 2 downstream, 2 for the left bank, 2 for the right bank. This code that I'd set is for bank 2 sensor 1, which on the Honda is the left bank. And if you're looking down at the engine, this is your left bank. It's actually the easier one for me to change. The other one is down along that side, and you kind of have to dig your hands down in there with some good lighting. That being the front of the engine, the left bank 2, the right bank 1. And as you can see, I've already got the O2 sensor out and ready to go, but we're going to do a quick scan just to see what codes are set. Go into engine here. Just give this thing a little second. It's not the fastest in the world. And we'll just go into read trouble codes, read current DTCs, and there is HO2S, air fuel ratio, B2S1 no activity. And when observing it on the data stream, I mean, it's doing something, but it is extremely slow compared to the other bank, and that's what made me call it. Of course, before you get into this, you want to make sure that you do have the right O2 sensor. Fortunately, on these ones, both upstream sensors list as the same part. Sometimes they're listed as a different part number because the harness itself will be different lengths, but generally both sensors would be the same. So even if you ended up with one with a longer harness, it would work for both sides on a different application than this. Like I was saying earlier, this O2 is going to be extremely easy to change. It's right here in the front on top, right next to this old Butterfly, this Monarch that didn't make it back down to Mexico. The electrical connector is right over here, and as long as we undo that and unthread the sensor out of the hot exhaust, make sure it's good and hot when you start, makes it unthreading that O2 a lot easier. Now, getting a great camera angle is not the easiest. It is a little bit of a tight working area. It's not too bad, but I've noticed the connector down here has a lot of grease buildup, or it's actually oil buildup really, and it's just from missing the oil cap or going a little bit too fast and it dribbling out of the valve cover and coming down onto the connector and just building up a lot of grease. So I'm going to clean this up just a bit so I can see what's what. And it looks like the depresses at this end, depresses on the right side, and then kind of pulls out of the other end of it. And I'll just come in with the pick on this end of it to try and get this lock to release a little bit more than it is. It looks like I got it completely out of the way, so this should just undo. And it's still not. Push down enough, you can get this whole connector to come right off of the bracket, and then just get a better idea what's going on. I think it's just being held by, basically nothing, just age. And whatever kind of grime or whatever's kind of sealing it on there. Before I get as far as taking the old O2 sensor out, I'll just take the new one, verify that that is the correct one by the wiring, the pin layout, the number of pins. It looks like we're good to go here. A lot of you will not have an O2 sensor socket, and this would be the proper tool to change one of these. Also allows you to reinstall it. It basically goes over top of the wiring and then drops down onto the actual hex part of the sensor, this block that you can actually turn with a wrench or socket, and that'll allow me to get it out and back in. A lot of you may not have that, and another option would actually be cut the wiring off of the connector, because a lot of open end wrenches won't go around there, and then just drop a regular socket, deep socket, over top of the sensor to wind it out. And then you could potentially put in the new one with just a stubby wrench if you could get it down in here. This is a pretty tight working area. You'd probably want to borrow one of these if you didn't have one. Now, if for any reason you need to reinstall this O2 sensor, I would definitely recommend taking it out by hand, cranking this with a hand ratchet, as opposed to using some sort of impact like I am. Because even dropping an O2 sensor on the ground on the concrete floor can actually damage it. It can crack the inside of it and it just not work properly anymore. But for how I do it, that's how easy it is. With a lot of O2 sensors, especially a quality one like this Denso, you will get some sort of anti-seize, or this one being like a copper slip, which is apparently good for O2 sensors. The thing is you get some on the threads, and if you're a little bit excessive with it, getting it back down into the manifold or the catalytic converter, which it is on this case, it can actually heat up and then get past the threads and contaminate the sensor. So I generally don't use this stuff. Main reason being is this O2 sensor is the first time it's being changed. It's likely never going to be changed again. This vehicle is definitely well beyond half of its life. And to install this, it's not going to have to come back out. Anti-seize really isn't going to help anything here. Now these are a pretty coarse thread, but I'll generally always start them by hand just to make sure that I've got them seated in properly. Get at least 3 or 4 turns in, almost all the way in. And then I will tighten it up by hand only. So I've got an even longer extension. I'll get down around that wiring onto the O2 without knocking my light over, hopefully. And just crank this guy tight by hand, and then just give it a nice little tweak to make sure it is good and tight. There likely is a torque setting for those. I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't feel like looking it up today, so just make sure it's tight. The last step being is connecting it back into the harness and then getting that all reconnected back up onto its bracket the way it's supposed to be. That wiring is definitely away from the fan and away from the exhaust. So now we're just ready to come back here and clear our DTCs and data. Yes, we want to clear. Everything should be cleared out. I didn't actually see where the check engine light was, but it looks like it's out anyway. And he'll just have to let us know how he makes out with it. And well, that's going to wrap it up for another one. Make sure to like this video, share it out, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.